Hey, what's going on, everybody? Movie Phantom here, and thank you for joining me here. Friday night, time for the Movie Phantom's horror review. Hitting you guys with a double shot of Saw. We got Saw 3 and Saw 4. Yeah. Alright. Can you believe this is like damn near 10 years old? That's retarded. Like, this just came out in 10 years. It's insane. I feel fucking old right now. Alright. Saw 3. Got an autograph by Tobin Bell. How fucking sweet is that? Yeah, so, Saw 3. This picks up right after 2. And you remember, what the fuck was it? Donnie Wahlberg, what was his character name? I'm horrible with character names. Anyways, you know, we see his fate, because at the end of part 2, you know, Amanda shut the door on him. Game over. Yeah, I'll be honest with you. If you would have asked me, and I'm still not quite sure where it ranks up. If you would have asked me before, like, what was my least, 2 favorite, it would have been these 2. Like, I just did not care for them when they first came out. Since then, I've seen them several times. Let me go with this one first. I'm sorry, I'm scatterbrained right now. It's been kind of a busy day. Work was hectic. This is me winding down right now. First time I saw this, actually no, I rented it because I love the first 2. Saw 1, Saw 2 are fucking epic. Sometimes, if you ask me in the right day, I'll say 2's better than 1. I mean, they're both fucking just brilliant. And I remember wanting to see 3, but at the time, see, we got, in our little small town here, we have 2 theaters, and they're like rivals and whatnot. And they usually split the movies down the middle, so if there's ever a franchise, they usually split them back and forth. So, like, if one year you're going to get, like, Pirates 2, then the next pirate movie that comes out will probably go to the other one. And the Saws were no different. It went, ping pong ball. So we got 2, but we didn't get 3. So I remember, for whatever reason, I didn't go to see it. But anyway, I just remember we were getting 4, and I knew we were getting 4. And it was already been announced or on the list or whatever. So I went out and rented 3. And I remember the one thing I just didn't care about right off the bat was I didn't like what I love about Saws is, you can win. You can escape. You gotta do some fucked up shit, but you can survive. And when Amanda took over, or I guess she didn't fully take over, when she was kind of, taking the reins for a little bit, all her traps were like you couldn't win. And I just did not like that twist. In the grand scheme of things, I'm looking at it now, it really wasn't that bad. And that's why these have kind of risen. But initially, I just remember that left a bad taste in my mouth. I didn't think the story was that good. I just remember being kind of like, ugh, this again. The fact that they killed off the girl, I'm thinking of her name now too, but the female cop, I didn't like that. Sorry, spoiler alert. Yeah, and I just remember the actual main story. Like, this is the one that, Amanda kidnaps the chick. I think it was Amanda kidnapped her. Maybe, I can't remember. But either way, they kidnapped the girl. And she has to, she's a nurse, and she has to perform, like, the brain surgery on Jigsaw, which is a fucking epic scene, by the way. Like, even then, I was like, this movie sucks, but I love that scene because it was just so fucking brutal. So I definitely dug that. Well, then, you had the whole plot with the husband who, and you don't realize it till the end, spoiler alert, that, they're married. And I just remember, I don't know, not really caring. I didn't think the traps this time around were particularly that brutal. So I don't know. I was just kind of like, I didn't care. And then the fact that the way it ends, I'm just like, I was just like, well, how are they going to continue this? Years later, or not too many years later, but whenever the 7th one came out, the final one, it was out. It was already announced it was done. I waited an extra year to make sure they weren't going to bust out and do a Friday the 13th final chapter, and then do part 5 right afterwards. And they didn't, so I went out, and I had the first 2. I didn't have the others at the time. And I went out and just rented all 7. And literally in 1 week. And I'm not going to say I did 1 a day. I mean, I crammed 2. I remember one day, I crammed like 3 of them in there. So, I mean, I cram watched within the span of a few days the entire Saw series. And it does make a lot more sense when you do it that way, because, and I'll get to the reason why here in a minute on 4, but I liked it a little bit more after watching them all in order. I mean, once the pieces kind of fit, because that's one thing I will say about the Saw series, as far as continuity goes, it flows better than most horror series. You know, the Friday 13th, the Halloweens, they're not so much, but this one tends to have a nice, even storyline. And I guess at the time I just couldn't appreciate it did have more of a broader spectrum. Like, they saw a larger picture. And, you know, not to be cliched, but, or, you know, whatever, but we were getting little pieces of this jigsaw together. And I guess at the time I just like, I don't, you know, so I couldn't appreciate it for what it was, I guess. When Maya moved in, she actually, like, these are her two favorite right here. You know, two favorite. So we got them, and then I, you know, rewatched them again with her, and then this past week I watched them, so I mean, I've seen them, you know, a handful of times now, and they're getting better. Now, I don't think they've climbed above the others, but now my opinion of these ain't as low. Overall, I'm not going to go into too much detail. You guys have clearly, I mean, I know you guys have seen these. But I will say with the Saws, I just remember as a kid being a big, you know, Friday 13th fan or Halloween fan or whatever. The one thing I always hear, like, old people, and I mean old people, I'm not like, you know, when I'm a kid, people like in their 40s and up would be like, how do you watch that? It's the same thing over and over. And I would make my arguments. I'd be like, no, it's not the same thing. And this one, you know, it's a new batch of kids that go to the woods, and it's totally different. That's my little Phantom voice. Anyways, but this, I remember saying that. I'm like, it's just the same thing. It's just like, it's new traps, but different group of people. And I'm just like, it's the same bullshit. And I'm like, wow, Phantom, you've grown up. That's sad. But like I said, now I watch it, you know. Guess watching it now, there are certain things I do like about it. I like the pig scene where the lawyer or the judge, he's chained down, and he's fucking down, and they're dropping the pigs into like this, a juicer. I don't know what the fuck it technically is, but like all the guts and blood, like the liquefied pig is kind of, dude, it's so fucking disgusting. And this is literally, I believe this is the first time you see titties in a torture porn. You know, and I know that's not, you know, the definition of torture porn, but I just remember like when that term first came out, I was just like, what? Torture porn? But this is the first time you see some titties, so it's like, alright, it's kind of torture porn now. But yeah, like I said, overall, like I said, this is definitely, in my opinion, the weakest link. The dullest blade in the Saw series, if you will. But yeah, like I said, overall, it's, you know, it has its moments. And I hate the fact that, you know, they kind of killed Jigsaw off too early. Especially if they did know, or even if they had an idea they was going to at least make 7. The fact that they wiped him out in 3. Because I don't like the direction they go, and I'll get to that when I get to 4. And even though some stories I like I said, like 5 pretty good. 6 I think is awesome. Like, I really think 6 is just fucking solid as hell. But the rest of them are just kind of like, and I don't know, we'll get there. But yeah, this was alright. Like I said, I mean, I do like the dynamics between Jigsaw and Amanda. I just feel like, how did Amanda not know she was being tested? I mean, I just feel like if you're with Jigsaw at all times, you should just know, like, it's never over. Not just from the outside, but like even when I'm watching a movie, I was just thinking to myself, like, dude, she's acting like a cunt right in front of Jigsaw. Like, she's clearly not cherishing her life right now. She's whining, she's complaining. Like, this is what kind of got you in trouble in the first place. And yet you're doing it right in front of him. Like, I don't care if he is on his deathbed or not. And sure enough, it comes back to bite him, or bite her. So, you know, it was just one of, and same with the guys. It's like the same thing at the end. The guy who gone through all these different tests and shit, seen how fucked up it can be, and then like it's just like the guy's telling you, like, you know, just, and at this point, like, once again, I know it's easy to say this when you get them watching all 7, and you're just like, you know, if they just would have been nicer, paid attention, whatever. And I'm like, especially if you just went through that shit, and the guy who did it to you, he's just like, listen, I'm the guy who I'm behind all this. I'm telling you right now, you can just walk away, forgive me, walk away, you'll be fine. And I feel like Jigsaw does not lie to you. Like, he will fuck you up. He will hide some truths, but he does not lie to you. So I'm like, if he's telling you can walk out right now or whatever, and he's like, I forgive you, and something like that, he pulls a chainsaw or a big saw out and whatever, and he's just like, ah! I'm like, really? Have you not learned a fucking thing? And that's another reoccurring theme throughout this whole series anyways, is people never really learn their lesson, which is probably why they all wind up dead or worse in the end. So, yeah, so Saw 3, it's alright. It's definitely a little higher right now. Brings us to Saw 4, and in fact, and I can never tell you which one was actually my least favorite, but I just remember, so, you know, I rented this, I was all happy, and then, or, you know, I rented it, I was like, oh, that kind of sucked, but I was like, well, they'll bring it back. They'll fucking bring it back. But I was like, how are they going to do it? Because, you know, he's officially dead. Like, literally, throat slit, he's not coming back. Amanda, dead. And that's what we learned in, you know, that they had helped. and we learn that in this one. So this comes to the theater. I get to watch it for free because I work there, which is always a big fucking plus. And so I'm watching it, and we're down to the last guy. I forget his name. Is it Riggs? Is there S at the end of that? I can't remember. He's the black guy. He's like the only black guy on the squad. And he's been in all of them so far. Or the second, third, and fourth one. Like that little Darren Lynn Bousman trilogy there. He's like the last one standing. We don't realize yet that Eric Matthews, because he shares the same name of Corey's older brother in Boy Meets World. Donnie Wahlberg's still alive. And so, he turns out to be the killer at the end. I can't think of the dude's name right now. I'm fucking blanking. Anyways, the next Saul killer. What the? Is it? He's not Matthew. I can't remember. I'm sorry, guys. I just watched this too. But he's the new guy. He's the next killer. But he's kidnapped right now, and so I was like, this is promising. We're starting off pretty good. The problem is you had Agent Strom. And yet Agent Strom and whoever the detective was that turns out to be the killer, dude, they look similar. And I just remember thinking I couldn't keep track. And this goes into 5. Like, I like 5 a lot more. But it's the same thing. I can never... Like, who is this? Is this the agent or the detective? I can't quite keep them apart. And then, what this does, it ties in, like, the storylines are kind of doing this shit. And so we get to a part where Jeff, who's the husband in this one, shows up in this, and I'm just like, and I didn't remember. I literally just watched it within a couple weeks from each other. I'm just like, who the fuck's this guy now? And literally, I just spent most of the time trying to piece this shit together. When you watch it all in one setting, or pretty close, it's easier to piece that shit together. And the fact that like this kind of opens with the detective, the bad one, finding the tape that Jigsaw has ingested, which takes place well after this movie, and then it kind of bookends the whole thing. And it's, once again, this crazy time jumping just threw me off my game. And like I said, the first time I watched it, I was like, this is complete shit. Like, I don't know what the fuck's going on. I did enjoy the backstory with Jigsaw. I thought that was really cool. But yeah, I just remember there wasn't really a whole lot of traps in this one that I thought was very memorable. And like I said, there weren't really so much traps, I guess, as they were games. But yeah, I don't know. At the time, I just wasn't huge on it. Once again, rewatched it, several times now, and I'm just like, you know what? It's definitely better. I like the overarching story. I think this trilogy is actually kind of a neat idea, even though I do think the last two were very, very weak, I guess. Because 2 was so fucking awesome, and then 3 and 4 just kind of. I kind of hate the fact that it wasted like all the cops quickly. So I'm like, you could have had Riggs or the other guys come back, the girl, but it just seemed like they just started wiping them out quickly like that, and you're just like, I don't like that. So yeah, I don't want to go into too much detail on this one. These are fairly new, but once again, I will say, as standalone movies, the Saws can be iffy because if you didn't watch it, with Friday the 13th, you can go into any of them. You can watch part 6 first, and you're not lost. You know exactly what's going on. With these, just kind of like, what the fuck? Like, the storylines are sort of, more structured, but it's like, you gotta pay attention to them and shit. So yeah, like I said, overall, I'm giving them thumbs up, but it's kind of down here. They're not high. They're not up here. They're not like, holy shit, I recommend checking them out, especially if you're a Saw fan. And another thing, which, goes without saying, love the score. This is actually one of my favorite horror scores. I need to do that, like a top 10 horror scores. Love it. Love the theme. It's actually the main theme, that dun dun dun, dun dun dun, dun dun. I love it. It's just fucking awesome. What is a little ridiculous, I don't remember which one's which now, but I just remember at the end of the movie, because at the end of every Saw movie, we gotta have that recap where we show you everything now again, and I just remember it literally recapped something that just happened. Like, literally, it recapped it with a different... Because when you do the recap, it's never in the same tint. It's always like a lighter, hazier look, or, kind of off-color. It's a flashback. But it was like it just happened. We really just recapped... I think it was part 3, actually, now I'm thinking about it. Because it was him telling Amanda, like, you were being tested, it's all you. And I'm just like, that just happened. We get the recap anyways, so. So that's it. That's my opinion on the Saws. What are your opinions on, especially these two, Saw 3 and Saw 4, since these are the ones we're talking about tonight? Drop me that shit down below. Hit me up, Facebook, Twitter, whatever. So, yeah, that's all I got this week. Haven't seen them yet. Check them out. If you're not a fan of torture porn or the Saw movies in general, then obviously steer clear. Don't be that asshole who's just like, I hated the first two, and then I was like, fuck it, I'll watch the third one anyways. I hated it too, and I hate doing that shit. If you don't like a series, don't go back. Don't go back. Just steer clear. But if you enjoy them, check them out. That's all I got, guys. Until next week. Boom.